What would you do upon being kidnapped by the most ferocious pirates of the sea? Beg for mercy or laugh in the face of your captors? You almost won't believe what this young nobleman did. Welcome to Weird Rewind. Today, we dive into a story not just of captivity, but of cunning and audacity. This is the tale of Julius Caesar, and an ordeal that would mark one of the most defining moments of his life. Before etching his name in history, Julius Caesar spent his youth as an aristocrat in the heart of Rome. Born into the prestigious Julian clan, Caesar was steeped in the legacy of Roman nobility from his earliest days. During his youth, he was marked by a fierce intelligence and relentless drive. In the forums and fields of Rome, he honed his mind and body, preparing for the challenges of political and military life. Our tale begins with an ambitious Julius Caesar at the age of 25, ready to embark on a journey that would take him far from the familiar cobbled streets of Rome. As he stepped onto a ship, his eyes were set on Rhodes, an island famed as a beacon of knowledge and rhetoric in the ancient world. For Caesar, this journey was more than an academic pursuit. It was a quest to arm himself with the power of eloquence, a weapon he knew was indispensable in the cutthroat arena of Roman politics. As the ship sailed through the pristine waters of the Mediterranean, Caesar immersed himself in the study of past speeches and philosophical texts, preparing for his tutelage. But what lay ahead was not a lesson in rhetoric, but an unforeseen adventure that would test his mettle in ways he never imagined. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a crimson glow over the sea, a sense of foreboding hung in the air. The journey to Rhodes, a path tread by many scholars, was about to veer into uncharted waters. The cries from the lookouts warned the surprised crew as unfamiliar sails appeared in the distance. Cilician pirates, known and feared for their savagery and greed, were closing in fast. These were not ordinary bandits of the sea. They were a formidable force, leaving a trail of plunder, terror, and death across the Mediterranean. Caesar's ship, though swift, was no match for the pirates' speed and cunning. The crew's attempts to evade capture were in vain as the pirate ships rapidly surrounded them. The air was thick with tension, the crew's faces etched with fear. Caesar, however, remained strikingly composed, his eyes observing every move of the approaching adversaries. The pirates boarded with ruthless efficiency, their curved swords glinting in the dim light. A chaotic skirmish ensued, but it was clear that the battle was one-sided. In a matter of moments, the inevitable occurred. Caesar, along with his companions, was bound and captured. The young Roman noble, destined for greatness, found himself at the mercy of the most feared pirates of the age. Taken to an unknown hidden cove, far from the prying eyes of civilization, the pirates gathered to decide the fate of their prized captive. Julius Caesar, a young man of significant stature, represented a golden opportunity. The air was thick with greed as they contemplated the ransom. Settling on 20 talents of silver, which is the equivalent to $3 million in today's value, they approached Caesar with their demand. With a boldness that took even the hardened pirates aback, Caesar laughed at their demand. It was not the reaction they expected from a captain. With the poise of someone who knew his worth and the audacity to voice it, he declared that their sum undervalued him. He insisted that he was worth no less than 50 talents of silver, or $7 million today. This was not just a statement of his value, it was a challenge to their perception of him. The pirates found amusement in his boldness. They were used to fear and pleas from their captives, not pride and negotiation. Intrigued by this display of confidence, and perhaps seeing an opportunity to boast about the value of their captive, they agreed to his counteroffer. Caesar's demand was sent to Rome, the message carried by his own companions released to gather the ransom. In this extraordinary moment, Caesar turned a dire situation into a display of inherent leadership and self-worth. Even in chains, he commanded respect and dictated the terms. Caesar never resigned himself to the role of a victim. Instead, he engaged with his captors, turning the dynamics of prisoner and jailer on its head. He reportedly walked among them with an air of authority that showed his true status as captive. He participated in their games, shushed them when he tried to sleep, challenged them, and even instructed them as if he were their leader, not their prisoner. His wit and intelligence were evident, and he used them to assert a subtle dominance. Caesar exercised with the pirates, showing a physical prowess that matched his mental acuity, further commanding their respect. Like a lion among wolves. In moments of camaraderie, Caesar would boldly jest about how one day he would hunt them all down and crucify them. His words, spoken with a charismatic mix of seriousness and humor, were taken as bravado by the pirates. They laughed, treating his threats as idle boasts of a man in chains. Little did they know that they were not just words, but a foreshadowing of Caesar's desire for retribution. He learned their ways, their weaknesses, studying the location and biding his time, waiting for the moment to turn his captivity into a stepping stone for his grander ambitions. After 38 tension-filled days, the hefty ransom of 50 talents of silver finally arrived. The pirates, gleeful at their prize, released Caesar. As he sailed back to the mainland, there was a steely glint in his eye, a resolve that spoke of unfinished business. Caesar's release was not the end of this chapter. It was merely the calm before the storm. Upon his return, Caesar wasted no time. Despite holding no public or military office, he managed to gather a small but capable fleet. His actions were swift, his purpose singular: to hunt down those who had dared to imprison him. This was not just about revenge, it was about setting a precedent, and about showing the world the mettle of Julius Caesar. Now in the command of his own force, Caesar sailed back into the treacherous waters. His knowledge of the pirates' hideout, gleaned during his captivity, gave him an edge. The hunters had become the hunted. As they closed in on the pirate stronghold, the element of surprise was on their side. Those who laughed off Caesar's threats as empty words of a captive were about to face a very harsh reality. The confrontation was swift and decisive. Caesar's forces, fueled by their leader's unyielding will, overpowered the pirates. The pirates were rounded up like cattle, their reign of terror on the seas brought to an abrupt end. With the pirates now in chains, the tables had turned dramatically. Caesar's justice, much like his leadership, was ruthless and final. He ordered the crucifixion of the pirates, a common but brutal form of punishment in the Roman world. This was not merely an act of retribution. It was a profound statement of Caesar's resolve and a fulfillment of a promise that he had made while in captivity. As the crucifixes were erected, the reality of their fate dawned upon the pirates. The same men who had laughed at Caesar's threats, who had seen him as nothing more than a high-value captive, now faced the grim consequences of their actions. As the sun set on the day of retribution, the silhouettes of the crucifixes cast long shadows over the land. This act of justice was a defining moment in Caesar's early life, a testament to his character and an indication of the merciless leader he would become. In this moment of stark justice, Julius Caesar solidified his reputation as a formidable figure, a man of his word. Whether of mercy or punishment, it was always fulfilled. As we delve into these tales from history's darker corners, they illuminate not only the past, but also the timeless qualities that shape our present and future. If you'd like a video that dives further into the life of Julius Caesar, please let us know in the comments below. Thank you for joining us on this historic rewind. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more plunges into the intriguing and often shadowy realms of history. Until next time, keep questioning the past to understand the present. See you in the next rewind.